Hi, Daz and Gabe for Tech Talk one more time. Today we're going to talk about video analytics, which is really the sweet spot of our company. I know we've touched on it a few times before, but today what we're going to more talk about is what's the evolution of analytics. So we don't work as much these days in biometrics, working more in pattern recognition and machine learning, and that's where Gabe comes in, because you want to talk us around some of the stuff you've done with license plate rec.
So yeah, as Daz explained, the way that it's done has changed a lot. So traditionally, back in the day, an individual person would have set up the parameters and how they would identify a plate. Nowadays, with kind of the increase in computational power, it's done by a model. So you create a model, you input the data, and then it learns. So hence why the artificial intelligence and kind of the machine learning buzzwords that you hear. So what this allows us to do is identify plates in more challenging conditions and with kind of difficult lighting and worse angles. So really what that means for you as a customer is that the analytics are better, the accuracy is better, and it really works in the real world.
In all of the years gone by, the science behind making the optics work from analytic was absolutely key to the analytics success. And most of the failures that we've seen in Australia and working up in the US as well has been absolutely around the way the optics was set up to try and optimize what the analytic could see, so the dwell angle and the skew angle of the optic, and even the depth of field of the optic. And now what we're finding with the machine learning, in the machine learning space, is that we can actually use things like little handheld cameras, and we can walk through car parks shining the optics at the back ends of cars. And because the way that the algorithms now actually build a stack of knowledge, they can reference that stack and understand what's happening from, enormously insane skew angles.
Yeah. So I guess what this means for you as customers is that traditionally, if you've had CCTV or kind of general angle cameras, analytics has not worked very well. So a lot of people have kind of promised a lot with analytics, and if you use kind of these traditional angles, they haven't worked, as Daz has mentioned with the optics. Now, with these kind of new models and increased computation, we are able to do that. So what it means is kind of one of the biggest questions that we get at AFN is, can I use my existing cameras? What analytics could I run here? Could I test analytics? And I think a lot of that comes from customers wanting or needing better data to be able to trust the analytics. And I definitely think at now and kind of in the next few years, the whole space has changed.
So one of the things that, for instance, even our acquisition within Telstra was video analytics. AFN video analytics leaders in the Australian market and Southeast Asian market. Hang on a sec, why aren't we selling very many video analytics? And the problem is that the use case of video analytics has been very difficult for customers to find a return on investment on, and the analytics have been so dependent on very accurate angles optically that we've often struggled to give the customer the right outcome. And certainly companies that don't specialise in video analytics trying to deploy them have had an enormously difficult time. So we're in a much better space to deploy them, and of course, because computational power has increased by so many factors. So since I helped write for the first algorithms back in sort of '99, things that we hoped for back then, we just now are very much taken for granted in our development group. So what we're going to talk about over the next few tech talks is not only all the different analytics that now have really came to a terrific fruition for us, but the affordability of them, the deployment of them, and the use cases of them, and hopefully really start to build, a confidence in the market around return on investment of the analytics.
We'll also run some live demos, because as with video and analytics, seeing is believing, so we look forward to it.
Thank you very much.